Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Bioscience Guide. Today the topic is respiration in human being. Respiration is a process or biochemical process in which the digested food is oxidized in presence of oxygen to form energy as ATP in the mitochondria. The process of respiration is of following types. Depending on the availability of oxygen, respiration can be categorized into types: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, which takes place in presence of oxygen. The oxygen is used for the oxidation of food particles. One molecule of glucose which is oxidized in presence of oxygen and release 38 ATP energy. The aerobic respiration occurs in all higher organisms. The anaerobic respiration, which takes place in absence of oxygen, in which the food is oxidized in absence of oxygen and one glucose molecule release 2 ATP energy. The anaerobic respiration, which occurs in the striated muscles of body during heavy exercise. The respiratory organs of human beings are as follows: nostrils and nasal chamber, internal nostrils, larynx, trachea, bronchi, alveoli, lungs. The external nostrils, which are the openings of the nasal chamber. There are one pair of nasal openings or nostrils which are found above the mouth and they are separated by a septum. The nostrils are linked into the nasal chamber internally. The nasal chamber, which is divided into many bony shelves called turbinates. The turbinates, which increase the surface area of nasal chamber. Besides them, the nasal chamber consists many air cavities which are called paranasal sinuses. The paranasal sinus are lined with mucous membrane. The mucous membrane produces mucus into the nasal cavities. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to my channel Bioscience Guide to stay updated with more biological content. The external nostrils, which open into the internal nostrils, and the internal nostrils, which comprises into nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx consists of glottis, which is the opening of air, and gullet, which is the opening of food. The glottis and gullet, which are separated by an elastic cartilage flap called epiglottis. Larynx is a hollow cartilaginous structure which is formed of three types of cartilage: one thyroid cartilage, one cricoid cartilage, and two arytenoid cartilage. The nasal chamber has an opening of air called glottis and it is covered by an elastic cartilage called epiglottis. The epiglottis prevents the food particle from the respiratory tract or windpipe. The larynx is called voice box or sound box, which is a thin-walled tubular part and it is more developed in male than female. The thyroid cartilage, which is the most prominent part of larynx, which is found as a large in size and C in shape. It is formed by two flat tissues which are part diffuse in the middle. The arytenoid is a pair of small triangular cartilage which form the posterior wall of the larynx. The cricoid cartilage is a ring-like cartilage found below the thyroid and arytenoid cartilage. It is broader in lower in and completely surrounds the larynx. Trachea, it is a hollow straight tube known as windpipe. It is extending throughout the neck region and upper part of the thoracic cavity. Trachea is situated ventral to the esophagus and it consists about 16 to 20 in number of C-shaped tracheal rings. The tracheal rings are incomplete on the dorsal side. The cartilaginous ring provides support and prevent from collapsing. Internally, the tracheal wall is composed of ciliated pseudostratified epithelium tissue consists goblet seal to produce mucus. The trachea extends downward through the neck into the chest region. Now it divides into two short primary branches called right and left bronchi. The right bronchus is wider and shorter than that of left bronchus. The left bronchus, which is narrow and longer than right. Each bronchus is linked, is long and subdivides into branchial tubes that again divides into branchioles. Each bronchus is terminated into bronchioles, alveolar ducts and alveoli. Internally, each lung has millions of alveoli, which are the tiny air sac and surrounded by a network of blood capillaries. Each branchiole is linked with many air sacs or alveoli. The blood capillaries are closely contact with the alveoli and membrane separating them. The alveoli, which are the main site of gas exchange, which takes place across the membrane, where oxygen diffuses from alveoli into the blood and carbon dioxide from blood into the alveoli. The outer layer of the alveoli is lined by squamous cells that secretes a phospholipid fluid to prevent from drying out and collapsing the alveolar wall. Lung, which is a pair of soft, spongy structure which are situated on either side of heart in the thoracic cavity. Each lung, which is a cone-like structure, anteriorly pointed and posteriorly broad. Each lung is enclosed in a cavity called pleural cavity. The pleural cavity is lined by two flexible top transparent pleural membrane. The pleural membrane, which is facing toward the lung, called visceral pleura, and the other membrane which is facing on the thoracic wall called parietal pleura. In between the visceral and parietal pleural membrane, there is a pleural fluid which is secreted by pleural membrane. The pleural fluid, which reduces the friction force during breathing. The lungs, which are externally divided into distinct lobes. The right lung has 3 lobes or chamber: right superior, right inferior and middle lobe. The left lung, which has 2 lobes or chamber: left superior and left inferior. The left lung, which is smaller than that of right lung. Thank you for watching.